beware, starting a toy company is a lot. And of course, we're talking about Mischief Toys, Heather, our very own independent toy company that has been such a fantastic thing in our lives, but also one of the most painful situations we have ever been in, ever.
Yeah.
Are you ready to talk about it?
I am.
I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I want to talk about the good stuff, the bad stuff, all the things in between. We're also going to talk about our Tiki Gastly that's going to be a C2E2 sunken Tiki Gastly. Want to discuss that as well. And maybe some things that we've never discussed when it comes to Mischief Toys. Things maybe we've never shared before.
Okay. Well, this will be exciting.
I think it's going to be exciting. First, check out MischiefToys.com, and you're going to want to pay very close attention to all the things that we're doing. If you're in the Coven of Mischief, we're going to have a Coven of Mischief drop very, very soon. Also, we're going to be at C2E2 in Chicago, which is the first time ever for us. We're really excited about it. And then a week after that, we'll be at SneakerCon 2026 in the collectibles area, which is the very first time they've ever done it.
Yeah, and SneakerCon will be in Philadelphia, and we are so excited. C2E2 is something we've wanted to do for a really long time, and we finally have the opportunity to do it. And that's going to be such an interactive and fun experience for the fans.
100%, Heather. We're bringing all the fun. We're bringing all the mischief.
Yeah, and SneakerCon is something I never even thought of doing because it's called SneakerCon.
Yeah, it's different.
But this will be their very first show that they've ever brought collectibles and trading cards, which is really cool. And we were personally invited by them, which is such an honor. But it sort of allowed us to think outside of the box and do some really fun things that we had never thought of doing for Mischief Toys before, as far as like creativity goes, because we wanted to be on brand for SneakerCon.
We sure did. So you're going to want to pay attention to all the mischief that we're making at MischiefToys.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Follow us on all forms of social media at Mischief Toys, and also join our group on Facebook called Mischief Toys Collectors. Let's get into it, Heather. Mischief Toys, to give you a little bit of background, I created a little character named Gastly. I drew him up. We designed him into a sticker. People seem to really be taken by him, which was insane. Mm-hmm. I think that's the most exciting part for me, is the fact that people were excited about this character. They were accepting of a character that I had created, something that I never had expected as a person who is not an artist.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I felt the same way. I didn't really know what people were going to think, and they really seemed to dig it. And that was just so cool, because I know that has to be such a good feeling for you specifically, because you're the one that created him.
Yeah, and I created him at night in bed on on a cell phone, smartphone. I created him, and it was sort of like the idea of a little minion Gwar character. That's literally my thoughts at the time. And I was like, how can I make a character like a little monster that is like reminiscent of Gwar? And look, all these years later, we've teamed with Gwar now. I mean, I have been able to, I don't know, so many dreams, I guess, for me have been made.
Yeah.
The fact that we were able to create something and for it to be an ongoing thing and for people to be interested in it, to hang on, loving the different drops that we make, apparel, which includes shirts and hats, pins, stickers, figures, plush. I mean, we've literally done it all, but it has not been easy. It's been an absolute pain in the ass, but a good pain in the ass.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part. I mean, because you and I are not business people. You had a business. Yes. You were doing hair.
Yes.
So you ran your own business. So you knew kind of a background of what business was. I didn't. I came from a family. My father owned a convenience store growing up. So I kind of knew what a business was, but a business like that is far different than what we do today.
It is. I mean, there's definitely some things that I took from my hair business that I was able to sort of like implement into Mischief Toys, but this is completely different at the same time.
It is, and it also has a social media like sort of platform mixed into it because of Gastlecast. Of course, we would have never found a fan base if it weren't for us having a YouTube channel to begin with. Like, I always look at...
Or it would have been really difficult.
It would have been difficult. Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I agree with that. But, you know, putting together Gastlecast and then eventually creating Mischief Toys, little did I know that I was, like, building up to Mischief Toys.
Yeah.
Learning how to edit software so I could do promotional materials. Going live and promoting our stuff. Posting stuff all over the internet on social media.
Yeah.
Never did I think that what I was doing by setting up Gastlecast would then make Mischief Toys become like a hit in the independent toy community.
Yeah. And something like, I mean, we've sort of learned how to do some things through Gastlecast, and we've done research because we talk about collectibles on this channel for the most part. We have for many years. So we've learned trends. We've learned like what collectors are into, what they may not be into, things like that. We also talk a lot about our particular interests. And I would say between the both of us, I think the one shared interest that is like the biggest is like horror and music.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of like-minded people have stuck around on this channel to hear what we have to say about things like that. So I think that that translates really well in toy form. Like, we have done a lot of like horror, Halloween-y inspired figures as well as music, which has been really fun. And I don't know. I think that what we do here is so unique. Because how many toy companies can say that they're also like influencers on YouTube? Like, that's and I hate the word influencer, but that people know what you're talking
that's
about
the
when
definition.
you say that.
I mean,
yeah.
that's the definition. That's what it means. But I'm with you that I'm not particularly fond of that word. But Mischief Toys sort of becoming this very small, granular thing that was a sticker that we ended up creating pins out of the blue.
Which, by the way, I was really frustrated with that you did that, because I was like, how are you gonna afford this? Like, pin making is not super cheap. And I'm like, why'd you go and do this? Like, what's the plan for this? Because I knew it was like an us thing. And you were like, well, we'll sell them on the channel. And I'm thinking, like, are people actually going to buy that? Like, the sticker thing was cool. That's what we started out with, because we just mailed the stickers for free to people, like for giveaways, or if they said that they really liked it. I think that we sent a few that way or whatever. But I was like, free is different than paid for. Like, is this like going to work? And that wasn't me not having faith in you. It was more so just me, you know, like, would that be something I was personally into? Like, would I buy pins from a YouTuber who drew something?
Right, I understand that. I get it.
But I mean, I think he's such a cute character. He's like spooky sweet.
Yes.
Like, I think
we always called it creepy cute.
Yeah, I think that's like, those are two good descriptors for him. So I personally love him, but like, wondering what people on the outside who aren't me and you would think. I was just like, are people gonna be into this? And it turns out they were.
Yeah, super excited about Gastly, seeing him in the very first toy form, his red, black, and yellow, and also a little bit of silver and those rings in his outfit. But we created this thing, you know, with the expectations that we would go 1 or 2 runs. Yeah. And we wouldn't make any more. And
well, at least 2, because we had ordered regular Gastly and then
Initiation Gastly.
Yeah, Initiation Gastly, which was all black with red eyes.
Yeah. And that was before we had really just, you know, kind of created the Coven of Mischief, which is a membership program, but it operates almost like a cult. It's supposed to be a pseudo cult, a fake cult, but
obviously not a real cult.
Yeah. So I always thought like dark stuff was interesting. I remember seeing that with Tiny Ghost.
Yeah.
There was always like a lot of like darkness hidden in there. And so when we designed this, I was like, that's my style. And I want to kind of go down that path and see where it takes us, because you can have it both ways. You can have it both like cute and fun, or you can have it like dark. If you look at our figures, You know, you got cute Gastly, glow in the dark Gastlys. You know, we've had
Kitty
a
cats.
black and white Gastly, kitty cat Gastly,
Yeah.
and then on the other hand, you have these like oozing zombies, right? You have black metal Gastly.
Yeah.
You know, you have all these different like sort of both sides of the fence versions of these characters. Well, I guess multi versions of the characters. But the one thing I've always been so proud of is the fact that we have not only created a character and sort of fleshed him out a bit through different storylines and things that we've done, but also in the fact that we have found incredible artists to work with us, and
Yes.
they were able to make these different variants of Gastly without having to jump on board a license right out of the gate. I
Yeah.
mean, we did so much before we even got to Guar, which was our first license.
Yeah.
And that is humongous. But we're talking about all the good things, and I kind of want to dip our toes into the bad things.
Yeah.
And, you know, a couple of things that right off the top of my head, and I think you're going to agree a lot. I would say one of the biggest hurdles that we ever had to cross was dealing with a manufacturer and
Yes.
the language barrier.
Yeah, well, when we first started out, we were going through the friend who had helped create our first stickers and pins. He worked for a company that made a lot of things like enamel pins, trophies, challenge coins, lanyards, like things like that, signs.
Yeah.
And we approached them one day and we were like, "Hey, do you know anything about manufacturing toys?" And they were like, "Not really, but we can see what we can do."
Yeah.
And they found a manufacturer. And there were some challenges with that because we weren't directly talking to the manufacturer, the other person was. So it was like we were speaking to someone, almost playing telephone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that
And-
was a rough period of time because it would take weeks for us to get answers.
Yeah.
And it was mainly due to the people we were working with. They weren't checking that messaging system that often. I don't know what was going on.
Not just that though, but if you remember, it was like in the midst of the pandemic. And specifically over in China, a lot was shutting down for
Yeah.
a really long period of time. So
True.
I think it may have had to do with that as well. But yeah, I would say the communication was definitely way harder back when we dealt with a middleman. And these days, like, we communicate directly with the manufacturer, and the language barrier can be a bit troublesome at times because it's hard to, like, for me specifically, I have a hard time explaining things without being able to, like, have a way to, like, show somebody something, like, over text.
Right.
But not just that, there is a bit of a language barrier. Like, obviously, my first language is English. My only language is English. I failed Spanish in middle school and German in high school, but that's besides the point. And they speak Chinese as their first language, but they also speak English. But sometimes it's a little bit broken, and I don't always know exactly what they mean. For the most part, it's really good, but sometimes it's like, can you please clarify that? And they're really good at clarification, but sometimes that sort of slows us down a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had many situations where things are just so confused and
Yeah.
couldn't figure things out. I would say today is a lot better, and we've kind of gotten more, I don't know, more in tune with their way of speaking.
Yeah,
and so now we
definitely.
understand it. We could talk through it. I do want to note that starting something like this, if anybody out there is watching this and they're thinking, wow, that's cool, they started their own toy business, I would love to do that too. I just want to make a note that this is one of the most difficult things I have ever done, because not only is it that you have to make all these connections in order to make the product, you also have to raise the funds to get it started. I know that was a tough one for us because we
was.
needed thousands of dollars. We ended up pulling it out of my 401k because we really at the time had no options because we needed such a significant amount of money. And I
Yeah.
remember having to go do that. And I'm wondering, like, am I right now, like, ruining my life?
Yeah,
Like,
making
is
a
that,
mistake.
yes. And like, you then take that money that I have now borrowed, right? and I'm giving it to somebody overseas. I don't know them. I'm just handing my money over through a bank. Will I see, could they take the money and run? And I remember at the beginning, I was really concerned about that because we were so new to it.
Yeah.
It isn't like we had a crash course. Anybody taught us anything. I mean, the one thing about us getting started was we interviewed a lot of people who had toy businesses.
Yeah.
We interviewed Abominable Toys, Barely Available. We interviewed Tiny Ghost, the guys behind Tiny Ghost. And so we got some insight, and we also had some friends that had a little bit of insight too.
Yeah.
And then the pin manufacturer had a little bit of insight too. So we were like pulling from all of these places, but we weren't entirely sure of it. Like it could have blown up in our face at any point in time, which it has a couple of times.
Yeah. The 401k thing was terrifying, and that happened. So we raised a decent amount of money through selling the pins that we had created. We realized that our first 2 figures were brittle, and we had to ask why that was. Well, it turns out they were trying to cut corners, and I think that this was due to like the middleman being involved. I don't think that he understood the importance of us having like a soft vinyl figure, and they created the limbs out of a completely different material, and that required a different type of mold, a cheaper mold. Well, we had to create a second mold if we wanted to keep making figures, and we were like, well, shit, how do we do this?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of learning on our feet.
Yeah, and it's nerve-wracking because you have a 401k, you expect to like retire with it, and now you're borrowing money from it to create toys.
To fund a business that you're not even sure if you know how to fund, or a business that you don't even know if you're able to operate or you know how to operate. And a lot of these other guys, I don't know if they're flying by the seat of their pants or if they know what they're doing. We did not go to school for this specifically.
I don't even think that you can.
Well, we didn't even understand. Well, I mean, business school. Somebody could go to school for business and they wouldn't know how to operate a business. We didn't even know how to do that. I mean, we were just so... at first, it was like, oh, yeah, we can do this. And then I started to realize just how green we were. And we were not ready for something like this. But I think with thinking on our feet, knowing the people that we knew, and also working with a manufacturer that was able to take baby steps, we were able to grow Mischief Toys. We've been able to grow Mischief Toys into what it is today. And Mischief Toys is a known name now. People know Mischief Toys. You talk to people in the, collectible world. They collect Funko Pops. They collect Hot Toys, whatever they name the things. And then Mischief Toys is in there somewhere. And that's mind-blowing to me that we were able to... If we stopped Mischief Toys today, I can at least say that we were a chapter of like the collectible world. And to me, that's humongous. I mean, we're not on a level of being like, we're in Target or, we're not like that, but we are big enough that people in this community know who we are. And I find that to be amazing, but that doesn't come without its ups and downs. I mean, the community overall, I would say, has been mostly wonderful, but then there have been other quandaries that we've run into. And that's people saying, well, this is the Gastlecast. These are the people who yell trash. And now they're trying to sell their own product. How do you face that?
That is incredibly tricky. And we started Gastlecast doing a lot of reviews, unboxings, and then we sort of shifted into news. And then we found that I forget the situation that sort of changed our channel and you yelled trash in. But people really loved that. And so we held on to that for a really long time. People
miss it even today. It's brought up more than anything. They remember me as the guy that yelled trash, or remember me as the guy that yelled trash. People watch the channel now and they're like, what the hell is this? It's like so far different. But it wasn't necessarily them understanding that we were funny or that we were doing it as a humor thing. There are people out there still today, that think that we're assholes, that we were mean to Funko, and that we were trying to tear their business down, which is far from the truth.
That's the last thing that I would ever want to do. What I want to do is I want to see them make decisions like I would for anybody I'm rooting for? Were we a bit more harsh than we could have been? Probably.
Absolutely.
But I feel like a lot of it was meant to be humorous. Was it always taken as humorous? Probably not. But I just wanted to see them make decisions that were better for the collector, because the collectors are who made their business into what it was and what it is continuing to be today.
Yeah.
And I feel like now they're on a trajectory to be like a happy medium of business and or like toy company and collectible company. But that's completely...
You're talking about Funko.
Yeah, that's completely besides the point.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm getting at is just the perception of us, who we are, what we did, and then now they're starting their own toy business. And I think we had a lot of judgment cast over us because of that.
Absolutely, and I understand why.
I think a lot of people were like, I'm not going to collect this stuff because of who they are, what they say, what they do.
Yeah.
And that really bummed me out, because that was never... The goal was to turn anybody off from anything or to upset anybody. It was literally just to be funny. And I know we went really hard a couple of times. We did. And I think it was good that we did in some of those respects, because no one else was doing that. And we had our own opinions about things, and opinions aren't always accepted. Some people don't accept your opinions. Sometimes we said things that were sort of on the negative side that most people agreed with. And then on other times they didn't. But the fact that Mischief Toys, despite who we are, what we do, how we were in our content previously, which I'll still yell trash today. I have nothing, against that. I think it's fine to have an opinion and to try to be funny and humorous. I don't see there to be an issue with that, although there are some people out there who do. But despite all of that, Mischief Toys grew and was a name. And we've released all these different figures and all these different things, despite all that. And that is the most shocking part of it to me personally.
It really is shocking. I'm glad that there are so many people that are able to understand what we were trying to do. Again, we didn't always hit the mark on maybe humorous, or maybe some people just are angry with life and just wanted to twist our words and make it seem like we were being hateful when we were just trying to be fun, but also point out flaws. But I think that it's great that we did develop some fans.
Well, much like me preparing for Mischief Toys via Gastlecast and learning editing and all that, I also didn't realize that we were going to make Mischief Toys in the same vein of yelling trash all the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that was going to happen. But even so, with Mischief Toys and us being able to sort of jump over a lot of different hurdles, do big things. I'm so proud of things that we've done by working with Guar, working with wonderful artists, finding new artists to work with on a regular basis, finding companies like Vertebrae 33 that just make Mischief Toys figures stand out even more, right, than some others that we've designed, right? It's really cool to have those cool partnerships. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of all the Night of Mischiefs that we put on, the Day of Mischief that we put on, New York Comic-Cons that we put on.
That's something I want to talk about. So you have I think editing and photo taking is your big thing that you took away from Gastlecast. Of course, I think the biggest thing is doing our research on collectibles and the community and what people like and dislike when it comes to collecting, right? But editing and photo taking, I think, would be your second.
That's my job. Right? Yeah, that's my job within the company, is basically to be sort of like the photography guy, the promotional guy. That's kind of where I'm at, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, my job, I do a lot of business.
You're everything else.
I do logistics, business, communications, things like that. But I think the thing that Gastlecast prepared me the most for is speaking in front of people.
Yeah, same.
I feel like I have always been a shy person. I've always been a very anxious person. Speaking in front of people or meeting new people is really stressful for me.
Oh my God, you are so much better at it than I am, though. You are very good at speaking in front of people. I am always so blown away at Night of Mischiefs and Day of Mischiefs. And just as a side tangent, last year during Night of Mischief, I mean, I'm okay to say this, but I got completely blasted at that show, and I regret every second of what happened with me there.
Well, that's not necessarily a being good at talking in front of people thing. That's just me not drinking alcohol thing.
Well, what I'm getting at is that I did that because I couldn't handle what was going on. I couldn't handle the situation that occurred during Night of Mischief. Night of Mischief was a problem, just to throw that out there. Our figures didn't come in time for the event, and it just caused all sorts of problems, and we felt terrible for it. I mean, it was the worst thing that's happened to us within the Mischief Toys realm of owning Mischief Toys.
Yeah, well, at the same time, though, we were literally on our way to New York when you found out your grandfather might not survive.
Yeah, well, that was the entire New York Comic Con experience, being on the phone about my grandfather.
Yeah, I think a lot of your stress came from that.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
I mean, I understand a lot of people use that as a coping mechanism, but I think you learned that probably shouldn't be done when we're putting on events.
And the other part that didn't help, I mean, I'm not trying to defend what happened, but, you know, with me not eating all day, being at that convention, and then walking in and having a few drinks as soon as I got in there, that didn't help matters at all.
A few?
Well, people kept handing them to me. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that tangent, but to your point, though, you are a very good public speaker, and you do better than me. I'm a very nervous person in front of people.
I am too.
I have a real hard time. No one would be able to tell because you are unbelievable. I've watched you with the microphone, and you just go and do your thing, and it's like letting it, spinning up a top and letting it loose. I mean, you're just out there and you're doing the thing. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you. I think that being on the internet, being vulnerable on the internet.
That's a good word for this episode. Vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because we make ourselves vulnerable in virtually everything that we do.
We do.
I want to touch on that in a second, but go ahead.
I think that's taught me a lot because I know that no matter what I say, someone out there is not going to like it.
Yes.
And someone out there might criticize me. They might criticize me in comments. They might criticize me publicly. They might criticize me directly. They might go on their Instagram and put an eggplant in my mouth on their story because
oh my God,
they don't
you
like
love
what
bringing
we have
that
to
up.
say.
Don't bring that up. I hate talking about that.
I know you do, but I think that that's a very real thing to talk about.
It is.
I mean, there are people who find that okay to do to people. And I think when you're on the internet, people, obviously you can see that I'm human because if you're watching this, it's most likely on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, I am a person. But I think behind a screen, people don't realize that being human comes with emotions. Like, would those people really feel comfortable saying something like that to me or doing something like that to me in person? Probably not.
No.
And so with that being said, I'm used to the trolls. I'm used to what can come out of it. And I've gotten through it all. I've gotten through people sexually harassing me. I've gotten through people threatening.
Well, you're talking specifically about Gastlecast, right? You've never been sexually harassed through Mischief Toys
I
before.
actually have been sexually harassed in regards to Mischief Toys. Yeah.
I don't remember that, but okay.
You would if I explained it to you offline.
Okay.
But we've had people. There was one person who incorrectly reported us to the Better Business Bureau.
I remember that. That was wild because I feel like we have been nothing but great to our customers and our fans. We have been. I mean, I hate to say that because it almost seems like I'm tooting my own horn. And I'm fine. I'm fine with tooting my own horn. I'm fine with tooting my own horn here because we have truthfully gone above and beyond, especially you, when it comes to anything Mischief Toys.
We do.
When it comes to helping people, like through help@mischieftoys.com, when people email us, you're always there for people. You're always answering questions.
Yeah,
And
never.
if something bad happens to the package, you're making sure they get what they need.
We pay extra for insurance so I don't have to go through the postal service because half the time they don't remedy it.
Right.
And we're such a small operation. I mean, I'm always going to take care of my customers. Always. But insurance helps because if the post office loses a product, that's something we have to replace. And if we don't get reimbursed, that hurts an operation as small
it's
as
money
ours.
out of our pocket.
I mean, even one figure being lost hurts a business as small as ours. We're not made of money. We're not millionaires.
Yeah.
And we run this business so frugally on our part. I quit my job about 1.5 years ago, my full-time job, so that I could be Mischief Toys full-time. And my salary is way less than any other job that I've had, I would say, since I was like 19 years old.
Do you think people out there think that we have become multimillionaires through this? Do you think people think we have a lot of money?
I think that people underestimate the amount of money that it takes to produce the things that we produce.
You think?
I think that people don't understand that we built a warehouse in our backyard and the amount of money it costs to do that, and not just to build it, but to keep it operational. I mean, we run lights, we run electricity, we run air conditioning and heat out there. It's not an inexpensive operation.
Oh, no. Everything that we do is very expensive.
It is. And
it takes up much of our house.
It really does. So, I mean, I think that a lot of people might do math. Okay, well, this is X amount of figures and they cost X amount each. So this equates to X amount of dollars. But what they don't see is, well, it costs this much money for it to be produced. It costs this much money for it to be shipped, which is obscene.
Well, one cost that people tend to forget, we get the comment all the time of new molds, and we've produced a lot of molds.
We have.
But it's interesting to me that they ask for it as often as they do, because it isn't like we're Funko, we're a larger company where we have the opportunity to just make molds all the time. But when we do, we try to get as much as we possibly can out of that particular mold. But they don't understand how much these molds are. I mean, we're talking mold costs can be up to, what, 20 grand?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking a lot of money sometimes for this stuff. It is not cheap.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people misunderstand it. They don't. The thing that I've realized through all of this, and I'm not saying I knew anything at the beginning. I was a dummy in a lot of ways too. But people don't understand how much goes into a business like this. They don't understand how much money it takes to operate it. They don't know how much manpower, the amount of manpower to operate this thing it leaves you and I exhausted.
It does.
I mean, I would say especially you, because you're doing a lot of administrative stuff. People don't understand that. Think about the emails that are sent out and which we actually have help for that now.
Yeah, I have an assistant and I still don't have enough time in the day.
But the amount of social media presence and what we put out on social media, just everything. And when people see, as an example, I'll give you a prime example of something that people probably just don't even realize. And they probably think it's nothing. Free stickers in every box. For the most part.
That's not free for us.
That is expensive, right? So people don't understand that. Producing this stuff is not cheap. And we have tried to figure out ways how can we make this more cost effective for this business? Because
without losing the quality.
Well, in order to grow the business, you have to produce the product. And we have produced a lot over the years. But the reason why we've produced so much was to grow Mischief Toys and to do bigger things, right? So, one day I could see myself or ourselves in Target with Mischief Toys. Or
that is a dream.
We've been on HotTopic.com before, but how about in store at Hot Topic with because we're doing mystery figures, in the future. So maybe mystery figures on, Hot Topic shelves somewhere. Or I was at Five Below not too long ago. Five Below has a ton of mystery figures. Think about Gastly being on that shelf.
But you would have to produce so many for it to be I'm talking tens of thousands. And
I know, but that's I guess
it's a long-term goal. But
yes, it's a goal.
Five Below, we've talked about it on this channel as not maybe being the best thing for Funko because we're used to their products being $15, $20 a piece, right?
Right.
To see them for like $5, $8, it's sort of like shocking, right?
That's the Funko Pop, not their mystery things.
So I guess what I'm speaking of is, when you're trying to grow to like a different demographic, because I think that our average demographic is like 30s and 40s.
So
right?
I would say older. I would say 30s to 60s. We have our age ranges are really. It's crazy. It's all over the place.
I think the majority though falls between 30 and.
Do you think 30 and
30
40?
and like maybe 45.
Okay.
But in order to grow that, Five Below would be ideal because you can make like cutesy little mini figures that are marketed towards kids that, go into the toy aisle and your mom's like, hey, you have $15 to spend. What are you going to spend it on?
Well, the price point is another thing, right? That's another factor. And we've had comments where people are like, well, Funko makes a Funko Pop and it's $15 and your figure is $50. And it's like, well, you got to understand, we're independent. We're very small. We, the figures boxes are nicer than a Funko box, right? It's not like flimsy. We got that nice foam in there. We have art throughout the entire thing. It tells a story.
Even if we had a flimsier box, our figures are still so pricey to produce.
Absolutely.
The more it's like when you go to Costco, you go to Target, you buy 2 rolls of paper towels, it's X amount of dollars per paper towel, right? You go to Costco, it's way less expensive per paper towel, but you're buying more.
Yeah.
That's essentially how manufacturing works. You buy more, you spend less.
Absolutely.
Right? And we're not at the thousands and thousands and thousands quantity range. We have minimum order quantities that we have to meet, which is pretty difficult to do sometimes.
Well, the limited numbers that we're doing super low. We played in a higher number range there for a while. And we started dropping and drooping down and trying to do super low because now Funko's doing it, Thrilljoy. All these guys are doing super low counts on their figures. Thrilljoy, maybe they're doing their thousands, but people are really after that super low number. I mean, at the end of the day, mostly that's what they're going after. They want to try their luck. Yeah. And so we wanted to bring our figures and make sure that they're down low, make our pins exclusive. And we were trying to make this sort of like an exclusive thing. Like, this stuff is not easy to get. It's hard. You might have to work through some stuff. You might have to go and attend a con. We also give people coins with Coven of Mischief to see us in person to get a free pin. Like that's an added on bonus to some of this stuff as well.
And those pins, that money comes out of our pockets.
Yes, because all of those pins are free.
Yeah, the Coven doesn't pay money. I mean, we have had drops online where it's like, we're putting up mystery style
leftovers,
leftovers from different conventions and stuff because we try to do a Coven pin for every single convention we attend. And, we're still trying to find that sweet spot. Like, how do you predict how many Coven members are going to show up to a convention? And you don't want anybody to leave disappointed.
But we still have that like little opening where we have, here's freebies. We gave away plush heads at New York Comic Con 2025. We give away those pins, like you mentioned. We give away buttons at New York as well. Stickers out the butt. I mean, the amount of stickers that we've produced is unbelievable. Well, thank you to all the fans out there who love those stickers and love the figures and everything else. That's really special. Cool. I love that. I think that's so cool. But, what I think about sometimes is the amount of... There has been drama and nastiness in this sometimes.
And there's no reason for it. And it's so stupid.
It's been uncomfortable in a couple of times. We've had instances where people wanted special treatment from us because they kind of knew us a little bit more than just finding us online. There have been instances of that. People watch the channel and they're like, nudge, nudge, hey, send me something. I've had that happen to me a couple of times. I don't know. I think one flaw about this whole system of ours is that we have put ourselves out there. So I want to go back to vulnerability. And vulnerability is a prime example of why a lot of the things that we face, the negativity that we face, happens. I think that you and I are nice people.
Yeah.
And, I say that a lot. And then people probably are like, bullshit, and he's talking himself up or whatever. I don't care. I'm speaking from a place of knowing.
I'm going to come out and say this. I'm not saying this because you're my husband. I'm saying this because I know you, I know who you are as a person. You are one of the nicest people I have ever met.
This is now
in
the
my
second
life.
podcast where you said this.
Yeah. Well, I mean it.
Wow.
Number one, I wouldn't have married you if...
I need this to come up in a fight sometime when we're fighting each other. I need this Heather to come out.
No, because then you're the meanest person I've ever met.
See?
No, but you are genuinely one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. My dad is another one. My dad is like such a nice person, and I just I look up to nice people. I who doesn't want to be surrounded by nice people, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
So you are almost nice to a fault, where you just want to make everybody happy. And so do I. But I also know that we run a business, so we need to ensure that, you know, people aren't getting special treatment.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got to be careful. I get that.
Like, yeah, we have friends and stuff. And yeah, a lot of our friends support us in what we do. They'll buy figures. Some of them buy every single item that we ever put out.
They're some of the biggest collectors of Mischief Toys.
Yeah, and others pick and choose what,
which I'm so
what they
thankful
like.
for.
Yeah, but I don't expect our friends to buy anything. If
Absolutely
they do, it's great.
not. And we have friends. Just as a note, we also have friends who don't.
Yeah.
Who don't collect.
So we have people who have been our friends for a long time, or who became friends through collectibles, or even through Mischief Toys, who help us at conventions. And collectors get so upset if they see like what they feel is special treatment given to those people. Now, when we get help at conventions, we pay through our figures. Yeah. Like, they will receive every item. If that's how they choose to be paid, they will receive every item from that convention.
Right. Yeah. We've done that. Yeah.
I mean, I just, why wouldn't they? Like, they deserve it. But I'm not going out of my way to give our friends special items just because they're my friends. Or special
treatment or anything like that. We have,
there are times where we will take note of, like, if someone's maybe looking for something on, like, the Mischief Toys page. It's like, okay, well, if I come across something, you know, maybe I'll send it to so-and-so or whatever. People I've never met. People I don't interact with. I just
I know you have gone out of your way on multiple occasions, but let's get back to
No. I would like to talk about this because I think it's important, because this is a topic of conversation that's come up quite a bit, where people think
you're talking about favoritism.
Yeah, that we're doing this like special stuff for people just because they're our friends. That's not the case, and it's never been the case.
Yeah.
And you know, we had a situation, someone who helps us at a lot of conventions. They purchased an item. I think it was around, like, I want to say it was Black Friday. We did like a $200 mystery box.
Yes.
And it was pre-packaged before, you know, we even sold it. I didn't know.
You did two of them.
Two of them, yep. I didn't know who purchased them until I printed the labels out. One of those people was someone who helps us at conventions.
One of our best friends.
Yeah. And I was like, well, shit. Because I know how people are.
Yeah, but I mean,
I would never, ever tell somebody, hey, I have something going up at this time. You need to make sure you're on the website to grab it. Or, hey, you know, I'm saying that I'm putting these up, but I'm going to make sure you get one. Like, it's not like that at all. But that's what people assume. That's what people make up in their minds.
True.
And so the fact that this friend got it, he had no idea what was in it. I knew these boxes were nearly identical. They each had a prototype. I think they had two different prototypes. So one of them was the same prototype. It was Blacklight King Kong, but they were like the different variants of them. One of them got a Gastly prototype. One of them got, I think, a Mortem prototype. They each got a different artist-proof figure, and I think like a couple other things. Oh, and they each got a Vertebrae 33 Mortem from New York Comic Con.
Ooh, that's a coveted figure.
Yeah, and it was like, I mean, I didn't even know how to price the box. I just wanted to do something fun, special for
We wanted to see if
our
anybody was
fans.
into it. I came up with that idea.
Yeah.
Let's just throw a mystery box together and see if people were into it.
People went insane.
What, that it was Sam that had it?
Yes.
Well,
The
so this is what I'm getting at. So this is the vulnerability, is that we have friends, and now our friends who end up obtaining these things.
Well, I'd like to note that he started out as a Mischief Toys collector.
Oh, yeah.
And him helping us at conventions
a
was a
Gastlecast viewer and
Yeah.
Mischief Toys collector, yeah.
But him helping us at conventions was a total fluke. We didn't invite him to help us. He was just crashing on our couch.
He just picked stuff up and started working, and then
Yeah.
he became an integral part of our booth space.
because he worked so well.
But vulnerability is there too, because now we're vulnerable to getting beat up for our friend obtaining a box like that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that a lot of people are on the outside looking in, and they look at how things go here, or maybe how things can be taken, right? If they're looking at how we post online or things that we talk about in a video or a live, they see us at a convention, they see how things are going there. Also, we're very vulnerable just on our YouTube channel, because we sit here and we talk and pour our hearts out. We are real people, which is unlike a lot of people on the internet. A lot of people on the internet have a dual personality, and we had that dual personality for a long time. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but it was our trash mentality and yelling and being silly and dumb and comedy. That was something fun for us. But here we are kind of talking about real things, which is important to me. This is why I want to change this format of this channel.
Big boss business shit.
Well, I wanted to talk about the real stuff, because the real stuff is more important, and as far as I'm concerned, is more interesting than sitting here and just screaming in front of a camera and making jokes all night. These are the topics I really want to talk about, and this is one I've always been, interested in talking about, not necessarily just with Mischief Toys, but Gastlecast too.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable, being on the street, walking around, and somebody yelling Chris and Heather. It's happened before. And not saying I don't like that or like it made me uncomfortable. It's just like, wow, okay. That's somebody who has watched our YouTube channel. That's happened. We've gone places and people, I'll give you an example. We were in Disney World, sat down to eat, and somebody that was a waiter, really nice guy, Gastlecast from across the room, and then he like, hey, what's up? And he left. And my father and mother looked at me, because we were eating dinner with them, and they're like, what was that? And I was like, somebody must watch the Gastlecast. And they were like, wow, that's crazy. That's wild. Well, imagine that person was a hater, and now they're yelling at me or something, right? Like in a public place. Vulnerability. And so the fact that we make ourselves so vulnerable here, is such a scary thing. And we're vulnerable in how we're telling people, like, we really care about Mischief Toys. Mischief Toys is a really big deal to us. It is a big deal of our lives. You left your job to specifically be like the grand master of Mischief Toys. I'm going part-time, or at least trying to go part-time, to be a part of more of Mischief Toys and to help more in Mischief Toys. It means so much to you and I.
Yeah.
And we're both so knee-deep in it now. There's no backing out of it.
Yeah.
And that's another vulnerability, that our lives are now in Mischief Toys. And if Mischief Toys crashes and burns tomorrow, which I have heard people wish that on us, which is insane to me.
It's
because
disgusting.
I have never wished anybody that their business died, did poorly. I would never say that even about a company that I didn't like. Like Whatnot, I hate Whatnot. I hate what Whatnot has done, but I've never said I just wish Whatnot would die or go away and go away forever. I just said I don't like Whatnot, and I don't want to deal with Whatnot, and that's not my thing.
And I just wish that they would update what they do and how they handle things.
Exactly. But that, besides the point, people to wish that on us, we've had that happen before. We've had people say nasty things about our collectibles. There was somebody who was on Facebook on Disc Trackers stuff, calling us names, and our figures are cheap and they look like shit, and you and I are addicts of some sort.
Which,
and
by
just
the way,
all sorts of crazy stuff.
Neither of us have ever done drugs. I don't even drink. I just...
Well, we all know I drank it.
Night of Mischief, yeah.
But for people to be that hateful and to say those types of things, the one message that I would send out to people, And this is something I heard from somebody a long time ago who I called friend, and I don't talk to him anymore. But his saying was, collect what you like. And I always stood by that, because if you truly like something and that's what you want to collect, that's great. You see in the world that people are chasing after the hard to get, super exclusive thing just because it's the super exclusive low number item and I want it for that reason. What I wanted to create was limited pieces to make it fun, obviously, to add it to the fire, but really create something that people liked.
Yeah.
And if they really love Mischief Toys, they really love the characters.
Yeah.
They're really into the stories that we develop and the artists that we work with and the collabs that we do and the licenses. If they're really into that world, I want you there. I want you in that world. I want you to stay in it as long as you want. And when you feel like it's time to exit, then you exit.
Yeah.
And there have been times where I've watched people who are hardcore collectors of Mischief Toys and then they exited. Some of those exits have been a little bit more hairy than other ones that have been very awkward. And they have their stories, which I wouldn't tell publicly about some of these people. Now, there are people who have left Mischief Toys and that's fine. And it is what it is, right? Maybe we don't converse with them anymore or whatever. There have been some people who've had serious exits and they try to blast us to fellow collectors and basically make us look bad to fellow collectors who love Mischief Toys. And they try to paint you and I as something that we're not. Yeah. And I feel like that if people watch this channel and see who we are and hear our speak, if you've ever met us in person, you would know, because in person, this is who we are. This is how we operate in person. I might be a little bit more reserved because I'm kind of a shy person, really, most of the time. But you know, for people to watch our channel here and see and whatever, and then jump to that conclusion, oh, well, that person that said that they're awful people, they're right. Like to jump on that bandwagon, that's also insane.
Yeah. But
to wish us unwell, to say nasty things about us, and just to be straight up hateful is one of those things that it's like, I did not start Gastlecast or Mischief Toys for this reason. I started Gastlecast to start conversations, to have fun and enjoy and put entertainment out there for people.
Yeah.
I created Mischief Toys for exactly the same reasons. Yeah. I want people to enjoy it. I want people to love what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's okay not to enjoy something anymore, but to blatantly wish ill on another person. I mean, there have been very few people that I've come across in life where I have just straight up hated or disliked strongly.
I can't say that I've ever hated anybody.
So you've never had an evil stepmother?
Oh, okay.
I've had an evil stepmother. I hate her.
I got it. It's different. You're right. It's different. Okay, what I'm talking about is anybody who's been involved in the orbit of Mischief Toys and Gastlecast. So I have not hated anybody.
I'm talking about just anybody in this life.
Okay.
I have never wished ill will on even her.
Okay.
I don't like her. I don't care about her. There's people I don't like. You know, I don't really care for them. But I would never wish ill on somebody. And if someone claims that they are your friend, that implies that they know you.
Yes.
I can very confidently say that you and I are very, very nice people. I feel like we're very caring. We're very, very compassionate. We're very empathetic. We sort of live by the treat others how you'd like to be treated mindset a lot of the time. As much as we can.
I agree with that.
We can't give everybody the world, but we do what we can for anybody. So for someone to claim they're a friend and to turn their backs on it, it's one thing if you're just like, okay, you know, collecting this isn't really my thing. But to exit in a way where you're wishing harm onto people who are genuinely kind people.
Or just wishing their company would die, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a horrible thing
it's harm,
to wish.
I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean,
financial
that's
harm.
my full-time job.
Yeah, financial harm.
It's really ugly.
somebody wished you to go back to working hair again.
I mean, if that's the biggest insult they can give me, that's fine. I loved doing hair. I would do that again. A lot of people, I'm really lucky. A lot of people don't have a second thing that they can fall back on. I worked hair for over a decade. I owned a salon.
You're very good at it.
I am, and I can say that with a lot of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm very meticulous. I think very logically, like I just have the mind for it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So if that's the biggest insult that you're going to throw my way, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's
a good mentality.
I would do that.
That's a good mentality. Again. The one thing I never want to be described as is hateful, just an overall angry person. What I would say is that I'm very protective of the things that I care about, right? And something that I really care about, my family. Obviously you, I'm very protective over you. I'm protective over our son. I'm protective over my family, our kitty cats, obviously. But I'm very protective over Mischief Toys because Mischief Toys is our baby. Gastlecast is our baby. They both mean a lot to me. I put a lot of my time and efforts into them. I put in hours. Think about it. I mean, making all the promo content and photos and going to cons, putting on parties. By the way, just as a side note, I don't want to get into conversation. Parties that we put on, we don't make money from any of that. You pay a ticket price, but there's no money to be made. No. It all goes right back into the collectibles you're getting and the place that we're at and maybe the food that we're handing out. I don't know if people who attend these things realize the amount of freebies that they get amongst all that. There are a lot of freebies too that we're throwing in there. Like the main chunk of it, I would say, is you're walking out of there with a figure or two, with the ticket price. You're getting a show, you're getting figures. But then we toss in pins and all this other crap, right? And I feel like we've done such a good job at that, even though it like kills us financially. We come back from New York Comic Con, we're like, oh my God, what did we do? What did we do? We shot ourselves in the foot here.
Yeah. And there have been times where we have been called greedy.
That one is really bizarre to me. And I don't mean to stop you, but for somebody to call us greedy in the fact that all we have done was try to grow our business. I would say, if nothing else, that's all our focus is. And frankly, during a month's time, we'll drop a couple figures maybe every once in a while. I would say this month, we're not really doing much of anything until we're at C2E2.
Yeah, we do have a couple of things that we're going to do. We have a Coven drop next week. It'll happen on Monday. I've already decided it's happening Monday.
Very good.
So we're having a Coven drop on Monday. It's going to be fun, but it's not like a huge drop. We also are going to do something small and special for St. Patrick's Day, just some leftover green things.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. I guess my point is where is it that we're greedy? Because you have these other toy businesses, they're dropping things weekly. I mean, Thrilljoy drops a batch of new figures every single month. Funko is releasing their limited pieces. They're dropping other pieces on their website.
Are we calling these companies greedy?
That's the part I don't understand. What? I mean, if anything, we are the ones at the lowest part of the totem pole in like the collectible industry. I mean, we're way down there. I mean, in terms of like a company, we're an LLC. I mean, we're a real company. If you look at us on paper versus a lot of these other businesses, we're probably not making as much as everybody else. We got to sell a little bit more sometimes. We like to put on these week-long events. I've always done that, not necessarily for the financial gain, but for the fun of it. Yeah. And to give somebody something different to pick up each day. Maybe that's where
greedy comes from, but that's not greedy at all. We're selling our products.
By the way, as we're talking through all this, I would love to hear comments below or read comments below of your thoughts on the different things that we're saying, because I feel like we've gone into this slump in this conversation now, right? It's like all the negative that we deal with. But I think it's important. And here's what I do want to be very clear about and blunt about on this channel now, is that I have held back for many years about my feelings about things and kind of been beaten up a lot. And we've talked about it here and there. But this podcast is not only going to be fun and funny. There will be moments where they're fun and funny, but there's also moments where they're going to be incredibly real, bone-chillingly real. And my feelings about owning and operating a toy business and also operating a YouTube channel. YouTube, as an example, is something I care so much about. And I put so many hours into editing those videos. And we weren't getting nearly the amount of views that we should have with me putting in the amount of time that I did. Like if I'm putting that amount of time in, I shouldn't have to work anymore. Like I was putting in, there were days I was putting in like 5-6 hours on bigger projects, but like 6 hours on those New York Comic Con things. I'm putting in days.
Yeah.
Right. And they hardly get any views.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here bitching about that. I'm not bitching about the views. I'm not bitching about it. But what I'm saying is that when people are hateful about it and they try to knock us down and drag us out, that always bothers me because it's like, look, man, we're not humongously popular. We're not getting a ton of views. We're talking about Funko products.
Yeah.
Don't come in here and swing on us.
You're pouring your heart and soul into it.
I mean, come on.
But that's what I meant in the beginning. When you put yourself on the internet, people are going to just say whatever they want because they can get away with it behind a keyboard. And I'm not saying that, we're violent people and if they said it to my face, like, I'm going to punch somebody. Like, that would never happen. But what else would never happen is people wouldn't say that shit to our faces.
Agreed.
Because you just don't do that. On the internet, it's acceptable. In person, it's not.
Right. Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, I think that no matter what happens, you're going to have people saying bad things.
Yeah.
I think with us, what's so far different from like Funko and Thrilljoy is that a lot of the fans we have grown pretty close to.
Yeah, we know a lot of people by name.
Yes.
We're going to Chicago for the first time, and I am so excited to meet people that I've never met before. I love seeing everybody that I've met, don't get me wrong. But to meet new people is always fun. And you and I, we're the ones that wrap the packages, so we might recognize names. And sometimes I almost feel like a fangirl because I might meet somebody and be like, oh my God, like I've wrapped so many of your packages. And it's like, wait, does that come across as fucking weird? Probably. But it's like...
It happens a lot, actually. I always hear you saying that.
Yeah, I'm finally putting a face to a name that I'm so grateful for because they like what we're doing. They're supporting our small business. They're supporting us and our family because that's what it comes down to.
They are. And that's another part of it.
They like what we do.
I don't think people understand that either, is that, to wish our business harm. I'm bringing that up again because I am so...
You're stewing over it. You're upset. You're frustrated.
I don't know. Well, yeah, frustrated. Yeah. But I guess I'm just very, I don't know. It actually hurts me to know that somebody would say, I want to see your business fail. I want Heather to go back and do hair again. It's like...
That was someone who claimed that they were a friend, but then on the other hand, they were lying to people. They lied to people to make it seem worse and said that they had known us for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't want to get too personal in who these people are.
No, I will. They were people who we had known as acquaintances who wished us ill will. They claimed that they were friends. I would say we were friendly with them. We had known them for a number of years. I think maybe like 7-8 years or so. But I wouldn't say that we were close with them. We knew them. And they kept trying to get close. But they didn't want to be our friends until we started Mischief Toys.
Right. Yeah.
And that is not someone who I want to be friends with because I know the motive. And it's someone who wants special treatment. And again, I don't even give my friends special treatment. If you help me at a convention, I will give you figures.
Yeah.
I might, gift somebody something.
And that's kind of where I'm at, is that if I want to do something for somebody, I will. And I have. I've done things for people.
I'm not,
I'm not talking about my best friends and people. And truthfully, I'll tell you one person who gets a lot of our stuff and some rare stuff. You want to know who that is? My mom.
Yeah.
I give my mom stuff all the time.
You want to know something? My dad doesn't own a prototype.
I don't know if my parents do. That's actually funny you bring it up.
Yeah.
I want to say they do,
I
but
feel like they might. I'm not sure.
I can't remember, but
I'm
my
not sure.
parents, they keep their little Gastly Mischief Toys collection
And
on a
if
thing. It's
someone
really cool.
wants to be angry at you for giving your mom product, that would be
I don't think
obscene.
anybody would be. I don't think anybody
So
would
then
be.
don't be angry if we pay our helpers at a convention with figures.
Right.
I mean, they're doing work. I mean, that's crazy talk. But my point
And I
is,
don't care about that. I don't care. If somebody's angry about that, then they're going to have to go kick rocks because I'm not bothered. If we want to hand something to somebody, we're allowed to do that. That's our right.
We have a couple friends that will go on the secondary market and purchase protos and purchase artist proofs.
I know.
Because we don't hand them to them.
I know.
And then there are people, I think what people think is that when we say we're randomly putting something in orders, people don't trust that it's random.
I know.
Like one of our friends, we gave out like a resins that were numbered.
Yeah.
And one of our friends ended up with number 1. And apparently that was like a topic. We received an email about it. And I'm like, if you think I have time to like put numbers into people's orders specific to who they are, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm wrapping a gazillion packages. I'm not doing that. I have no time for that.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. But anyway, with people saying those types of things and people just being overall, and people, and I think this happens with all collectible communities. I think we just so happen to be so up close and personal with the people who collect Mischief Toys.
I think it's a gift and a curse of having a YouTube channel
we see it kind of unfold and we watch it sort of in slow motion. And that sucks having to do that because I feel like we get close to some people and then eventually they almost like, we've had people like kind of turn on us in the past. And look, I'm not saying that I am not like I'm like guilty or I'm innocent in this, right? I don't feel guilty or innocent in this, but there might be something that I don't do that they expect, right? Maybe they expect me to give them something, and the fact that I didn't, they're like upset. Well, I've been a fan for like 5 years or however, 4 years, and I never got a golden narrator pin. And they get upset with that. They're bothered that I'm not hooking them up because they're seeing everybody else get them. You know, it's almost like one of those things that builds in a person's mind. And I know people who got upset about things like that, who have gotten bummed out and didn't want to collect Mischief Toys anymore because we weren't doing nice things for them. So
I don't say we're not doing nice things for them.
Not nice things, but we're not these gestures that it's their expectations that we're not meeting. And I can't spend my entire life trying to meet somebody's expectations. That isn't how I operate. We operate this as a business, and that's the thing.
I think
is that
a lot of
people see it and they're just like,
think
Chris
that
and
it's
Heather,
for fun.
They're having fun and games over there with Mischief Toys. And
no, it's hard.
It's oh my god, it's sometimes I'll tell you what, over the definitely before New York Comic Con and even after, because I was going through a lot, I did not sleep at all. And it was over not only my day job, you know, there's stresses there, but Mischief Toys, New York Comic Con, how are things going to go? How's this year going to be for us? Last year was a very strange year for a lot of companies. We were included into that. You never know what's going to happen. And then somebody says, you know, when you're in uncertainty and there's so much happening in the world and you're like, we're not toilet paper and tissue paper, you know, toilet paper or paper towels. We're a toy company. We're a toy brand. Will we make it through the tariff stuff? Will we make it through wars that are happening? Will we make it?
Yeah.
And then you know somebody who collected your stuff, because we do know most of these people, or did, and they're wishing your company to die. And so I don't know, try to put those shoes on, I guess, listener, because when you are running and operating this business, it's like, you want it to succeed. You want it to do well. You want to put food on the table for the family. You want to be able to do nice things and have nice things and you know, be able to afford daily life. And Mischief Toys affords us to do that. Although we don't really even pay ourselves. I don't pay anything to myself. and you barely get anything. I mean, Mischief Toys is like, I just really want to focus hard, in which we are. But this year is a big focus time for me. And it's growing Mischief Toys and doing bigger and better things with Mischief Toys and saying, so long, haters. Thank you for, saying all the nasty things that you did. But thank you for helping Mischief Toys, because obviously they were collectors at some point. So thank you for that. But so long, if you're going to hate us, we're driving off into the distance and we're going to do bigger and better things. I guess my point is I'm very sensitive to somebody being really horrible about things. So this isn't like I like Spider-Man or I love Venom and Carnage Funko Pops. That isn't what this is. This is two things I have put my blood, sweat, and tears into. I have lost time with friends and family. I've not gone on trips. I've missed out on things to make sure that Mischief Toys and Gastlecast still stood on two legs. I have given up a lot of my life to make sure that this stuff is successful, to find some sort of success. And for somebody to suggest that I'm a horrible person, I'm greedy, or whatever, business needs to die. My parting words with them would be, watch us grow, because we're going to fucking grow.
Yeah.
Feel however you want to feel. Hate us if you want to hate us. I don't give a fuck. We're going to build this thing, and we're going to take it as far as... Look, the wheels will fall right off, and I'll still be pushing the goddamn thing. That's just how I feel about it. Nothing will kill it for me. Mischief Toys will always be around in my life. I'm telling you that right now. No matter what form it is. Even if it's I'm drawing little stickers, I'm handing them out to people at Walmart. I'm doing it. I don't give a shit.
You're like the smiley face sticker
I'm
guy
the smiley
at the front.
face sticker guy. That's right, Heather. That's what I'm doing. We have talked for a long time.
Over an hour.
But the thing is that this means a lot to us. So we want to talk about this. We like spending our time discussing it. We talk a lot about this stuff behind the scenes. Sometimes, both you and I are kind of bummed out and wondering where do we go wrong for people to think of us a certain way. And we've had a lot of moments where,
I've come to the conclusion that I know who I am. I know who you are. So if someone wants to feel that way, they don't know us. Or they do know us, but they're hurting for some reason and they want someone to blame. It says more about them than it does about us. Because like you said, if they've met us and they know who we are, then they know that there's not a malicious bone in either of our bodies.
What's the title of this video? Is it boo, 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 hoo, wah, wah, Mischief Toys? Like, what do we call this video? Because we sat here and we cried most of it. Look, amongst all the things that we've talked about, okay, I just want to touch on this. We have had incredible successes in the time of having Mischief Toys, and we're still doing bigger things as we go. I mean, we have a lot of licenses coming up down the road, but working with Guar was huge for me. Attending New York Comic Con every year, putting on Night of Mischief, somehow putting on Day of Mischief. I don't even know how the fuck we pulled that off. But all of these things that we have been able to do, we met Guar and Kevin Smith because of our connectivity with Mischief Toys. Yeah. We got a photo with them, which is something humongous for me. Personally,
an awkward photo. I was standing there. I didn't know what to do with my arms.
We never know what to do with your arms, truthfully.
Yeah. Okay.
But the fact that we were in that photo and amongst all those people, like, these are legends to me. These are people I've been watching and listening to my entire life. And to be standing there with them and like, we're releasing a figure with these guys is fucking crazy.
You're forgetting the fact that one of the guys in Guar was wearing a Mischief Toys hat.
That was crazy too.
What the fuck?
And how about it just in the time of Gastlecast, meeting like Mike Becker is a huge reason as to why we started Mischief Toys. I mean, Mike Becker was like, he's the godfather of all this stuff. And so having like a friendship with him now, we've become sort of like friends with him. I wouldn't say sort of, we've become friends with Mike Becker.
He texts me out of the blue sometimes.
That's something that I would have never expected.
Me neither.
Brian Mariotti from Funko. A lot of people are like, oh, you guys hate, you hated on Funko and now you're trying to be friends with them and blah, 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 blah.
It's,
that
just means that they don't understand what we do here.
I hear those things and I'm just like, holy shit. You are so far, like, what it tells me is that, and I hate to say this, okay, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, no.
It just goes to show how stupid fucking people are sometimes. There are a lot of dummy people out there. And it's crazy to me. If they think that me sitting here and yelling trash on camera and being silly and stupid, if they're taking that seriously, that I was over all these years, that I was like serious, do we realize that they're vinyl collectibles? And I'm just yelling about stuff and I'm being silly and stupid just to get like people to like clap and laugh and sit at home and have something to watch?
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was entertainment.
Well,
what the fuck?
Another thing is if you're hating, if we are hating something that a publicly traded company is doing because it is not good for the collector and we're talking about it, it doesn't mean that we can't still look up to somebody who created the fucking thing.
100%.
And who made the thing successful.
100%.
So just because we don't agree with everything that a brand does doesn't mean that we hate a person behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
The one thing I could say over all the years of yelling trash and everything, the one thing I definitely regret is saying that about something that somebody created that is an artist over a Funko.
Same.
That is the one thing I regret. And all the artists out there, I think they know now because a lot of artists from Funko had reached out to us over the course of time. A lot of them.
And some have actually done work for Mischief Toys, which is so cool.
But we've actually received more loving feedback from those at Funko more than I would say anyone else. I'm talking more than our fan base, more than anybody. They have loved everything and because I believe they were seeing the humor over all the years. I think they understood what was under the veil.
Well, not just that, but I think they know a lot of them had been at Funko from a long time ago, from before they went public, and they saw the change and they saw that it became a machine. It's not necessarily that we were hating on someone's art, right?
Yeah.
It was more so these artists are given such strict guidelines from Funko and from the licensors, and they can't really put their true personality and heart and soul into something. They're just doing a job. And I think that a lot of them agreed with a lot of the things that we were saying. And it's not necessarily downing someone's art, but it's more so downing the decisions of this big machine.
Yeah.
You know?
Now we've done good. Look, we've done good things here, Heather. I wouldn't say that, you know, there have been times where we may have said some things that we didn't mean. There may have been times where we were corrected and maybe we were coming from the wrong place.
Yeah.
Maybe we could be hateful every once in a while. We've been doing this now since 2017. We've been at it for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
We are going to grow and evolve as we do this. And we have grown. We have evolved.
And we're
not the
lessons.
same people we were just even a couple of years ago. We've learned lessons. Much has changed. I mean, in fact, we are business owners. Mischief Toys and Gastlecast are both actual businesses for us.
Yeah.
We have, and by the way, not fun, especially right now during tax time, because holy shit.
Fuck, I forgot about
Mischief
that.
Toys, oh my God. Oh my God.
Talk about stressful.
Oh, the amount that we owed in taxes to Mischief Toys one year. It was a couple years ago. It was so daunting. I thought we were done. I really did.
Yeah,
There's so many
hard.
times. One thing we didn't talk about here, and I want to make another video about Mischief Toys and just insides.
I would like to make like a trials and tribulations about owning the business more so, because a lot of this was a lot of personal stuff. I'd also like to talk about more of the good, because we started with some good.
Yeah.
But then we fell off.
There's an overwhelming amount of good. And
there is.
And I agree. I think this is one of those videos where it's like, I feel open enough now. Like before, I wouldn't have sat here and made a podcast, you know, when I'm yelling trash or we're making Funko content. Now I feel like I'm sort of like unbuttoning my pants. Like now I'm able
You just had Thanksgiving dinner.
I can let it all out.
You had too much sweet potato casserole with them marshmallows.
I want to say what I have to say and mean what I mean. And I hope that this content isn't taken the wrong way. And I hope that people can understand it. I'm not understand it. I hope people, I hope people can understand maybe where I'm coming from and understand the sensitivities behind it and how this is an important thing to us. And that we will get bothered by some things. You know how people always say, it doesn't bother me. Haters going to hate. Fuck them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I can say that. I can sit back and be like, yeah, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. But when I go to bed at night, I think about these things. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I want to be real about it because that's who I am. I'm a real person. These things bother me. It hurts me to hear these things. I'm allowed to feel that way. And I'm allowed to come on here and I'm allowed to say it. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think, this could be taken as unprofessional.
I don't think so. I think talking about our vulnerabilities is okay.
Because I think it's okay. We have a unique position because we're two people who have a YouTube channel, but we also run a business. And you're not going to see business owners, saying things publicly about their feelings.
Do you think they want to?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Especially when they're upset or frustrated about something.
Like a restaurant when they got those Google reviews, they want to just...
Absolutely.
I've seen people respond, and actually, it looks like people online, when that's like posted publicly, people are like siding with the business and stuff. Like you'll see those types of things.
Yeah, but I mean, see, the problem with storytelling is you always hear there's two sides to every story.
It's true.
And we have seen it firsthand. The people we had talked about previously, we've known Chris and Heather 15 years. No, the fuck you haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't even been collecting for 15 years. We've been collecting for 12, and we've known them for maybe 7 or 8 of those years.
Yeah.
We certainly hadn't known them.
That's weird. I don't know.
15.
That's another thing that we didn't get into is that people feel close to us and because they watch us right from a distance on YouTube. There's that kind of thing that goes on too.
I'd like to make a full episode about that because I've learned a lot about that recently.
Yeah. And we'll do that. We'll do that.
But, you have someone saying these things and you have people could potentially believe that. I haven't known them for 15 fucking years. And we were not friends for 15 fucking years. We weren't even friends for the amount of time we've known them. We were acquaintances.
Yeah.
And we knew the motives, so we kept them at arm's length.
Wow, we spilled all the tea in this one, didn't we?
We did.
We spilled a lot of tea.
But then, on our side, they, as two people, might think, okay, well, this is how I was feeling. This is how I perceived it. So, while we're telling our truth, they may have taken things a certain way. It doesn't mean we were mean to them. I mean, I could understand someone saying, I hope your business fails, if I was like, hey, you're a fucking bitch. I've never said that to them is my point.
Wow.
I've never said that to them.
You're wild.
No, I would be if I said that. But whatever they feel like I did, I do not deserve to be talked about that way.
But and we've said a lot in this video. We've said a lot in this video. I think we said a lot of good things in this video. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of this video. I'm proud that we're getting it out there. And I'm proud. And I hope that you enjoyed this content. I think that we're coming from a place of, it's just different. It's different content that we're making here. I'm proud of this content that we're making. I love being able to discuss things that is weighing on me. Yeah. And I feel even a little bit better right now that we did this. Personally, I feel better that we did this because it's one of those things like if you let it sit on your chest long enough, it's really going to be it could be your demise. It could really hurt you. And so I needed to say it. So I'm glad we did. And Mischief Toys and Gastlecast, like I said, 2 of my very favorite things. I'm so proud of them. We've had we made so many friends and so many great things out of both of these things. I want to see them go on forever. I want to grow Mischief Toys in a way where I can hand it off to our son one day. That's the plan. Yeah. I want to hand it off to him, and I know he would take very good care of it. But it takes us in order to build it and make it to what it's going to be.
Yeah. And who knows what it's going to be?
Who knows? We want to know your thoughts and more in the comment section down below. What did you think of this content? You can say whatever you like. It doesn't matter at this point. You can tell us however you're feeling, and we will understand your feelings if you understand ours. I think that most people will walk away understanding that we are, we're pouring our heart out here. And we're really giving the truth of how we feel. And I think that's a good thing to do. Yeah,
I think we sort of got off topic from what we initially wanted to do. Because I think it could have been a mix of good and bad, but...
We had stuff eaten at us, so we had to get it out on the table. So let's call this spilling the tea.
We spilled
the Mischief tea.
In every video, we like to shout out to some of our patrons from Patreon because we appreciate your support so much. In this video, Willow and her butt are going to help me thank 10 of our patrons. In this video, I would like to shout out Katie Spink, Lisa Stevens, Isaiah Gartman, Michelle Days, The World According to Jason, Zachary Stone, Shelby and Holden Collect, Eric Lank, Dominique McAllister, and Mischief Maker Mikey. Thank you all so much for your support. We truly appreciate you. We love you so much, and we are so grateful to all of you.
Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, and the little bell. That way you'll know anytime we go live or post brand new content. You don't want to miss our new content. We have a blast here. Come back and watch us live every Sunday between 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern. Also, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Gastlecast to be a part of our monthly Google Meet calls where we do giveaways, show you upcoming Mischief Toys things, and much, much more. We're going to have all sorts of stuff to give away to include another Hot Toys figure and some stuff from the upcoming cons that Mischief Toys will be attending. Check it out at patreon.com/Gastlecast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.